I
so
didn't
fast.
know we were live yet.
It like I hit the button and it was like, and you are live.
Oh, I have to tell you, this is what I was looking at while this was all getting ready to stream. One of our best friends, Taylor, has this adorable little girl, and she has her in a swing with this bright yellow, like this cute little coat on and this
Yeah.
little hat. And I just look at it and I'm like the happiest person ever just watching her. So
I love it.
I
I love it.
digress. We were wanting to come on here live to talk about just in our business what we've kind of learned from personal experience when it comes to how much time you should be taking on certain activities, right? Is that what we're talking about today?
Yes, it absolutely is. And it came out of just conversations that we have been having with quite a few people, like a lot of our private mentorship clients and people within our direct sales, like in our community. And it is this part when you kind of make this transition into, I am now just like, I've been selling, I've had a great customer base, but now my direct sales business is beginning to pick up steam. And I have members now that are joining me that are working the business. And so we find that people sort of go one way. They go, oh my gosh, I now have people that are joining my team and I need to serve them. I need to create onboarding training. I need to do team calls. I need to have a team page. I need to answer all of their questions. Like I'm now responsible and I'm carrying the weight of their success on my shoulders. And we both know from personal experience that where we kind of go, hold please, right? And so we want to sort of talk you through just how do you actually manage your team and your personal business. What should that ratio look like as your business begins to grow? So let's
So I very clearly remember being at this point in my business. I just rank advanced to the first big rank in my business. And that basically meant I had a itty bitty baby team that was starting to duplicate what I was doing. And I made the mistake of thinking, okay, I have a team. Duplication is the key to direct sales. So now I have to go in and make sure everybody is doing exactly what they need to do. And they know I am here for them no matter what.
right.
And so, really, my time at the beginning, I noticed a major shift in my income in a negative way. My sales were a little bit less. I wasn't as focused on customer service because I was so focused on team service. And then I started to realize my team at that time, a lot of them really weren't as invested and excited and as interested in doing what I was doing to the degree that I was doing it. So my micromanaging of my team started to be a deterrent for them. And I was so new, I just didn't know any different. I was excited about my business. I had just rank advanced and I was on fire for the mission of the company and really just scaling and making this so big. But I was failing to see that if I didn't develop a healthy pipeline to my organization, there was going to be no scalability. Even if I got to that first advancement, nothing was going to change because I was not doing what was needed.
Yeah.
And so today, I think it would be really great for us to, number one, identify where we are. And number two, start to get very real about where we're spending our time.
Yes.
And so, Melanie, I think it would be a great idea for you to kind of walk through some best practices for people who are at that stage of scaling and really how much time is right, because I was way wrong when I did this.
Yeah. So those of you that are listening in live or even catching the replay, drop us a comment right now to raise your hand. Like, is this you? Are you somebody that's kind of at this point where you've got a few members on your team that are beginning to work and you're finding this struggle of, I'm not sure how much time I should be spending with my personal business versus my team and what should I be working on? So I want to hear from you guys, but then best practices. So I too had a very similar experience to Katy, and I was like my oh shiz moment where I was like, oh my gosh, right? I see my sales dropping. And then there was this realization that I don't have control over what my people do. So I may have a handful of people that are on fire. They are on fire in their direct sales business. They're on fire in my team. They're selling, they're onboarding, but all of a sudden, what happens if that person has an unfortunate life circumstance that happens, or they're moving across country, or they have a baby. And so we have no control whether or not somebody's going to continue to work the business, whether a life circumstance is going to happen and their energy is diverted away. And literally within like the blink of an eye, you can go from a business that is building volume to it slowing down if you aren't building that pipeline. So best practice number one, and I would say this is all the way until you have a lot of leaders that are duplicating. You're really operating under that 90-10 or 80-20. I would really consider you, if you are a new leader with a handful of team members, it's really 90% of your time is spent building your personal business. Another quick strategy for that, how to implement that, to put that into implementation, is when you look at the hours you work in a day, is saying the first part of my day, whatever that may be when I sit down to do my direct sales business, is going to be on the important behaviors such as inviting, following up, really cultivating new connections, and growing my funnel of sales. Then that 10% of that work period is spent on answering team messages, creating any resources, sharing what you're doing in your personal business with your team as well. Other strategies that we've used.
Yeah. So the one thing that I want to mention is when I had started and I was at that new rank in my business, I was committed only to working my business 4 hours a day. I was actually teaching full time and I had a little one at home. So I really max ever had 4 hours. And that did take into consideration the time I was checking in with my clients. So if you look at a 4-hour day, when I started to realize the shift that I wasn't seeing an increase in my income, I wasn't bringing in new customers the way that I wanted to, and I certainly wasn't retaining the customers that I had, I started to look at that 4-hour window and say, how much time? And really that meant in a 4-hour day, about 30 minutes, max 1 hour a day would be committed to my team. And so I would really suggest you auditing your time. And we do have free resources. We'll drop them in the comment. We have our downloadable time tracker that you can use and implement on a weekly basis. But when we audit our time, we become really aware of those trends. When we become aware of those trends, we can start to make changes. And you're never going to grow a business that, as Melanie mentioned, is not rooted in the basics of your income producing activities. That is inviting. That is having conversations. That is following up. That is sharing the products, but more importantly, sharing your belief of why you do what you do and how others can too. And so when Melanie and I really designed the curriculum for our 8-week mentorship program, and it is enrolling now, we knew that this had to be a big part of the conversation. We didn't want to just arm people with some tips and strategies. We wanted to get in the trenches there with them. We wanted to show them exactly what a healthy pipeline looks like. We wanted to walk them through scenarios where you might be starting to see that you're rank advancing, or you might be developing a team, but do you have systems in place that are allowing those people to duplicate without necessarily taking more of your time? Are you creating an onboarding strategy that gets people taking action from the very beginning? And are you confident in not just bringing people in to advance your business, but bringing people in so that they can see success, which ultimately is going to mean your success as well? And so, yes, the framework mentorship, we believe to be a game changer for people who are ready to scale their business to the next level. The people who have a foundation of how to build in direct sales. They know how to invite, they know how to follow up, but how do we actually get a team to duplicate what we're doing?
I love it. And, here's the thing, just as we kind of close out, this live today, and I'm watching the comments as Katy's been talking, I've been checking them all out. And I want to give you a piece of advice. And this is something we're going to talk about in Framework. I'm so excited for Framework. It is like one of my favorite mentorships to do because it's about scalability. And that's the secret sauce when it comes to building direct sales and exponentially increasing your income. But the one thing you cannot focus on is you cannot focus your attention and energy on the people who are not taking action. And so even in the comments right now, a lot of, I see you're pouring your heart and soul into your teams. You have people that say they're going to do and they aren't showing up and taking action. Here's the thing. You can't control what other people do. You can control putting the opportunity in front of other people. You can control sharing your conversations with your team. You can control sharing your posts and great wording and your calls to action, but you cannot come through the computer screen and make somebody else send an invite, do a post, advertise for a group, run a party. So with that being said, this is another thing we're going to talk about within that framework as well, is how do we handle those situations? How do we thicken our skin? How do we really make people take ownership of the business they've signed up for? So we want you to know we're absolutely going to address those concerns, those questions you guys have in the comments. And it would be a really great opportunity for you guys to get to work with Katy and I. And we hope that you join the Framework Mentorship, because you guys, it kicks off next Tuesday. So we'll see you in class.
Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy the weekend.
Bye.